you're watching Examining Cinema. First of all, I want to say thank you, Netflix, for making something as crazy and warped and different and fucked.
I remember the first moment that I was watching that Joe Rogan podcast with
Duncan Trussell.
Yeah, with Duncan.
Yeah.
And he mentioned that he was doing it with Pendleton Ward. And I was like instantly like, holy fuck, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
Having the sort of symbolistic cartoon style of Pendleton Ward with the unrestricted like classification of not having to be an actual children's show.
Yeah, well, when Adventure Time came out like a decade ago now, I remember being like, this fucking show is great.
Yeah.
It's like D&D, but trippy and weird and so warped.
It's like I've seen a few people say that like Adventure Time is a show that you would get a kick out of high, whereas The Midnight Gospel is definitely a show that you should watch high.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a better experience not being sober.
Yeah. Well, yeah, being a big Joe Rogan fan, Duncan has always been one of my favourite guests. I've actually gone back through the early catalogue of Rogan and watched all the fucking...
Yeah, I'll still get around because I haven't actually ever watched a Duncan Trussell podcast with him until the one where he was wearing that ghillie suit.
Oh, yeah. There's one before, I think it was 1313, and they're blowing like a bubble machine, and they're both dressed up fucking so silly, and they're so fucking blazed. And yeah, Duncan is like the biggest hippie ever. All he's ever talking about is like DMT and Terrence McKenna and alternate dimensions and all this crazy tripped out alternative type of thinking.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely getting that, like, especially from the show, because I didn't really know much about him apart from the show itself and the few podcasts I've watched now. But yeah, he seems to be someone who's very into that whole sort of mentality of the hallucinogens with the whole ego death breaking, facing mortality, and like real spiritual. Yeah. Trying to get that level of mindfulness, like active mindfulness, and it's pretty much something that I've always adjusted with. So like as soon as I noticed that's what the show was about, I was like, fuck yes.
Yeah.
It's gonna be some good shit.
Yeah, he's definitely always talking about psychedelics and their benefit and what you can learn from them and ego death and all of that. And that seeps through into the show. So this show, well, how the show is constructed is Pendleton Ward was a fan of Duncan's podcast. And he's like, hey, we should do something with this animation-wise. So I've taken segments of Duncan's podcast and put random animations on top of most of them. Most of them are talking about like meditation.
That's like even the first one, like the very first episode.
Yeah.
Like, he's talking about the medical marijuana thing. He's just like fucking like
shooting zombies.
He's like blasting the fuck out.
It's with like Dr. Drew, who's some fucking celebrity fucking doctor.
Yeah, and like I was
like, what the fuck is going on?
I was extremely drunk.
Yes.
Very, very drunk.
I was blazed.
Very drunk. And yeah, holy fuck, like...
Yeah.
Trying to keep up with what's happening in the audio sense and the visual sense at the same time.
Especially when they're so disconnected.
It's like, one second he's talking about marijuana thing, I was like not watching for a second, looked back, and there was like a fucking Attack on Titan scene with like the huge... I was like, what the fuck? Like, like trying to focus on what's going on visually and what's going on audibly is like, it's very overloading, and like it's something I noticed. Like I don't know if it's something many people would get, like unless it could just be personal as well, but with hallucinogenics I found like a lot of stronger dose stuff, it can be very overwhelming, like a full sensory overload. Like I find that like the show, not only with its symbolism and constant mushrooms and all that kind of stuff, it's very, the whole experience feels very much like a trip. Like you go from like you fall into that world, then you build up to like a climax, whether it's good or bad. And eventually you'll come to that sort of realization or ego death, and then be pulled back out of it, like almost suddenly, like how essentially how he comes out of the simulator. Pulls
that's
back straight out. Like I've pretty much from that point I was like, yeah, this is essentially like a visualization or a symbolic view of like essentially a hypnotic trip, like DMT or mushrooms or something.
There's definitely some stuff that Duncan has directly said. There's an episode which is more based around the story and the narrative of the show, which most of it isn't. Most of it is just the podcast and then animation. But there's an episode towards the end where it kind of focuses more on the story, and there's all those clouds where one of the multiverse generators has like broken up. People, the guy with the mustache is going through it and showing him all this stuff. And there's this cow with a mechanical head that's doing stuff in there. And Duncan said, that's a DMT trip I had. And apparently he said that to Netflix. He's like, this is a DMT trip I had that I want to put in the show. And they're like, okay, go for it.
Yeah, well, it's definitely becoming a lot more open. I think this show is going to be one of those things that helps bring psychedelics to the limelight, because in recent years there's already been talks with like, you know, people getting into microdosing in like Silicon Valley and stuff. With coding, and psilocybin can have uses for PTSD and things like that. So like,
definitely. But definitely
the medical aspect with also these things coming into it, because like for the last 10-20 years and kind of before that, psychedelics existed and they had that kind of spiritual introspective side, but a lot of it was just recreational. Like most people I've ever met, they take mushies, have a drink, or something, go out to a club, and like the complete opposite of what you should be doing. And it's like, this is kind of opening more people to that aspect of like introspective thinking. Like every episode pretty much brings forth a question about something that you're usually facing on like a heavy psychoactive trip. Like you're facing an introspective view on yourself. Every episode is essentially a question on fear of mortality, moving through the fear of change, going from one position to another, finding who you are, not feeling hate within who you view yourself as.
A good trip should help you deal with mentally, help you understand more all of this stuff. Ideally in the perfect situation. But that stuff is definitely bubbling to the surface of society more and becoming more accepted. I remember in the 90s when we were kids, the whole war on drugs thing was just fucking crazy.
Like
drugs are bad. If you smoke marijuana once, you're going to turn gay and kill yourself.
Yeah, it's like anytime you heard of psychedelic drugs, like even mushrooms, it's like you hear about people take it and they cut their faces off and go crazy. It's like, I took mushrooms, even having an argument with the missus that day, like
that's fucking
after taking mushrooms,
that is not the ideal environment.
And it wasn't a small dose. Like I was picking them straight out of the shit for a while.
5 gram hero dose.
No, it was more than that. But but most of the time I spent a lot of time staring at things, enjoying things visually, a lot of warping visual distortions. But then a lot of it was just, I'd lay down and I just thought about stuff. And essentially the same kind of things that they discuss in this show. That's why I instantly was like, this is 100% just a DMT trip in cartoon form. Because each time you trip, it's different. And it's different for every single person, every different experience. The same with every episode. He dives in, he's a completely different
character
avatar,
in a different world.
Different world, different experience, different visuals, different context. And like, it basically falls exactly in line. Like, it surprises me that they actually got away with making it as a show. Well,
I tip my hat to Netflix once again, because back in the days of network television where like you would make a television program to air at 7 o'clock on Channel 10, you wouldn't be able to make this.
Oh, hell no.
But in the day and age of streaming services where stuff is just free to stream wherever on the internet, you can make these really niche, unique, artistic things where it is like an artist creating something individual and new and fresh, instead of like, you know, a committee of bean-counting producers at 20th Century Fox going, well, we need to have this aspect to appeal to this. It's like, no.
Can't say this because we'll offend these people.
It's like, no, let's give a television show to the fucking acid head and the guy who made Adventure Time. Okay. And apparently it's doing well, which surprises me.
That's
because
a good thing,
fucking
because
warped,
like,
man.
A lot of TV has been very restrictive, and it's a very mainstream audience. So like if you don't fit into like liking this very particular, here's your average
what is it?
drama.
Is it a sitcom?
Yeah, like
is it a crime drama?
Yeah, average.
Is it news?
Here's another reworked version of that.
But what is this? This is fucking
like if
something
someone
else.
literally was just like came up and just slapped this show in front of me. It was like, put this in a fucking genre, I'm gonna kick you in the nuts. Like I'd have no nuts left. Like there's no way that I could really assign it to anything.
Basically, podcasts, I guess.
It's definitely. I think this is going to be a turning point where this becomes a lot more popular because like Joe Rogan and that, he's essentially mainstreamed a podcast format. Like he's very popular.
Well, his podcast gets more views than CNN or Fox
exactly.
News
so, like,
or Home and Away or
when you look at that,
whatever,
and then the massive popularity that this show's now bringing in.
Hopefully that opens the floodgates.
It's definitely a thing.
For more renegades.
More and more people are realising that, hey, we don't have to sign up with these networks.
Yeah.
And then agree to all these restrictions and things you want us to do. When I could just go do this myself, upload it on the internet and deal with running my own advertising. Get my own sponsors instead of having to feed off the amount you're getting through someone else who's controlling your product.
Yeah, well, that's the great thing. I'm filming something in my garage now.
Yeah.
No one will give me a show.
Yeah.
Why would they give me a show? What's a show? Drunk Aussies drink an excessive amount of alcohol and talk about 60s sci-fi.
Yeah,
nobody's going to put that on the television.
It's definitely one of the many freedoms of like the ability to do these podcasts and that.
Yeah.
Freely. And I reckon that there's going to be a huge surge probably of podcast stuff.
Who knows what will happen in the next 10 years.
I can see a lot of people trying hallucinogens.
I hope, well, the whole war on drugs thing has failed. It's miserably failed. They didn't get rid of any drugs, and the idea of enforcing drugs and making them illegal has only put money in the pockets of criminals.
Yeah, but that's like, even as Old Mate says in the first episode, I don't think there's any bad drugs.
Yeah,
like
it's a circumstance in the person.
So like, if, obviously like black tie heroin or something, it's pretty fucked.
Yeah.
But like,
there's a time and a place.
There's a time and a place?
Yeah, for a bit of a...
But yeah, like, a lot of drugs that they probably shouldn't be taking, but a lot of them do have a lot of good shit if you use them right. Like, there is drugs out there that are good for you.
Yeah, but the whole thing was just like propaganda and lies. Like, have you seen Reefer Madness?
I have not.
It's insanity. They smoke a joint and this guy rapes somebody and they all sit around and laugh as this guy rapes another girl. It's like... It's not what it is. It's not what the drug is. You lied to us. You lied to us for fucking decades about what this was. Weed is not the demon you sought it to be.
Yeah, but that's like...
Acid, mushrooms, they're not what you have been telling us they are.
Things like psilocybin and dimethyltryptamine and that, like, they're definitely something I wouldn't push into the same category as even weed.
No, weed I would put in the same category as alcohol.
Yeah, so like they're a recreation.
It can be hectic, it can be dangerous, it can endanger your personal well-being, but it shouldn't be illegal. Alcohol does all the same, but it shouldn't be illegal.
It's just, alcohol and caffeine and stuff's productive, whereas weed isn't. But yeah, like I find every country should still have like shaman sort of set up. Obviously not in like a fucking hut with like skulls attached to it, but in the sense that like there's someone you can go to who can sort of path you through your experience. Like I had severe problems with mortality. Like less than a year ago I watched someone die. Like they just dropped and died in front of me. Like 10 minutes CPR.
Hectic.
Like it's not an easy thing to see. And it doesn't stop. Like you constantly think about it. And so it's half the reason I turned to psychedelics. It's because like for me personally, I can't find belief in faith. Like I used to be like a naive, completely believed in the afterlife.
Yeah.
But I'm at a point now where like I couldn't physically believe. Like I looked at the world and everything was shit. Like I was like, there's no fucking way that someone created this shit. And like I was 100% atheist. Like once I died, I rotted, that was it. Everything ended. Then I was like, fuck, I need to try and get a new perspective because it's just not healthy to be this way. So I was like, fuck it, I'll try and see what hallucinogens is like.
Yeah.
And I did a few of them, like introspective, working on just myself, not in a public space or anything.
Yeah.
And like I found like I don't necessarily believe that there's something, but I've gotten to a point now where like when nothingness talks to you without saying anything, like it's hard to describe. Like
yeah,
it used to be a point where like I try to believe in something or something beyond what we can see and interact with, and it would just be like no. Doesn't exist. Like, my subconscious would deny it. But now, like, nothing exists beyond that. My subconscious is like, hold up, motherfucker. You fucking seen a wall of DNA and like a piece of nothing talk to you. Like, so it's kind of broke that cycle for me. And like since then, I've been a lot more aware of how I interact with people, opening up about my social anxiety, and like realizing that a lot of it was just essentially me stopping myself.
Yeah, that's fair. I haven't had any, like, I guess traditional, what you would say, spiritual experiences. Like, I've had a moment while playing guitar where all the molecules of the piece of mahogany I was playing in the room, and the house, and the world, and everything. It's like, it was just one entity, it was one being, it was one experience. There wasn't any separation between myself and the guitar and the building and the house and everything. It was just all one thriving, living being, consciousness, entity?
I can't remember the name for it. There is actually a specific belief around that. So there's two forms. They're like I can't remember what it is, but there's the belief that all matter and everything is alive.
Yeah.
Not in a conscious sense, so like it has life, it exists because it wants to exist or so forth. It's just unconscious existence.
Yeah.
And then you've got the other one, which is the more ancient Greek theatrical style, which is where everything is alive to a conscious point, down to the string on a guitar, or a rock or a piece of moss or something. And like I've also found like that's probably the closest I can do it is like not the conscious form but the unconscious form. Whereas like when you're really fucking gone to it, like everything there's no distinction between here and outside of you. Like it disappears. Like that was pretty much what like it got me, is like at that exact point like I felt like I was the chair, I was the ground, I was everything. And that's when like I felt a voice without hearing it. And pretty much at that point I was like, if this isn't something, like this is it, whether it's real or not, I felt it, so it's real in my universe.
That's
same
fair.
as you felt every molecule within that guitar and in existence. That's as real as it could possibly be.
As real as
you
real
really
gets.
felt that.
And
there's no way to deny that because your brain is your universe.
But and in talking about like deep introspective analysis, like the final episode of this series is a podcast he did with his mother.
That fucked me up.
I mean, it's fucking hectic.
It legitimately fucked me up. And like it goes through the cycle as they're talking, like he's a baby, meets her, grows up, she dies, he gives birth to her, and they continue to go through that cycle. And it's like, I don't know how to explain it. I was watching that scene and like I just imagined my son. I was like, my son is essentially just a new version of my parents. Just as I'm a new version of them. Like.
That's fair. I imagine my mum and what it would be like if I was an elderly old man and she was like 10 or something, like they were doing it. Like, how weird and surreal. And then she died like 3 weeks after that podcast was recorded.
That's true. That's brutal.
She was dying of like stage 4 bone cancer, and they go into this and they talk about the idea of him losing his mother and loss and coming to terms with this most devastating thing, and it's a fucking cartoon.
See, that's like, I think it's the one it might be that one with death, I can't remember, I wasn't sober when I watched it.
That's fair.
But the way they talk about it is like, there's nothing wrong with preparing.
You need to.
Because people go to that point where we go all the way up and you think to them like, oh, I'm gonna die now, and you die, and everyone deals with it. It's like, not everyone gets that chance to have that conversation. Like if everybody had that conversation that he has with his mother before they go, I reckon everybody would have a far
healthier reaction to it.
And would get through that process far easier. But it's
the naivety of some people who don't think about that
That's
you're gonna know most people you know are gonna die. And you're gonna witness that and be part of it. So you need to think about it. You need to think about how you'll deal with it and what it is and what it means.
That's why I like the fact that it repeats pretty much in every episode. Like, there's always death.
Yeah.
The whole concept is every world he's entering is dying.
Yeah. So the concept of the television show is, in this world, the something ribbon, everybody has these multiverse simulators that they harvest technology out of as a monetary means. But what he does is he records his podcast through it.
Which is the most hilarious thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, which is very relevant for what's going on now. It seems like someone would definitely do that. So yeah, he goes into these different multiverses every episode to record his fucking spacecast. But they're all in an apocalypse and they're all ending because of his negligence to maintain the machinery, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes through like his character like pushing away.
See,
all
the
these
horrible
elements.
thing is, I find it horrible how much I relate to him. Like, I pretty much went through the exact same cycle. I started off in that same bullshit realm where I was just ignoring the actual realities of the world while still living in it.
In denial,
I was an adult.
You closed shut. You put up the wall. That's Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Exactly. Like,
you put up these barriers to the dark reality of the world creeping in. Death, despair.
Yeah, like exactly as the bird puts, I'm probably going to misquote it, but in the existential trap episode, like easily my favourite episode.
That was a really cool episode.
He says, like, it's what we're all afraid of, like the question, like the point, like it's the point of actually realising, like, hey, I do not like who I am as I am right now. And nobody wants to do that. And that's like one of the things that they talk about somewhat is with drugs. Anything like, especially the zombie one with the song at the end of the first episode.
That's funny. I got to that point. I'm like, what is this? What is
going
on?
What I take away from that zombie one is everybody wants to be a zombie.
Yeah.
Because the same way I used to love smashing codes all day, every day.
Yeah.
It's because, like, if you're fucked, you're sad and wrecked as fuck, the easiest way to not deal with it is not be there. And if you're wrecked off your fucking tits, drunk, high, spazzing out on hallucinogens, you're not there to physically deal with it. You're going through life as a zombie. Which is why it's tied in with the whole episode of talking about legalizing marijuana. Now it can have good benefits and bad benefits. It's good benefits because it helps a lot of people. But the bad thing with marijuana isn't you don't physically get addicted to it. You get addicted to the numbness, which is exactly what I got addicted to. And people don't realise, like, oh, I'm not addicted to weed. It's like, yeah, you're not addicted to weed. You're addicted to not missing this person. You're addicted to not feeling like shit. You'll punch a cone and feel better, and not even better. You just feel numb.
Dopamine, serotonin.
Essentially, you're just essentially numbing yourself one way or another, and like you're living like a zombie. The same as taking Seroquel or anything else like that. Yeah,
that's exactly what people do. Escapism. They take, like, heroin. The reason people do fucking heroin is because they're miserable, because they were molested when they were a child, or because they've gone through the traumatic experience of being abused, and they want to forget about it. They want to release. They don't want to live in that realm anymore. They want to fucking boot up heroin and just feel this massive rush of dopamine and then nothingness.
Yeah, that's like, the show definitely hits on a lot. Like, it straight up when you're listening to it, they're talking about a lot of hefty stuff, like straight up death and
that. When
like
you actually cancer, meditation, psychedelics, life, death.
Take in the message they're actually saying. Like, there's a lot of it. There's like, it's just cyclic messages of accepting that you're going to die, accepting that it's not going to be fun, that, like, holding on to this hopelessness that everything will be okay it's not bad to let go of that. Like, it's not saying, like, I'm going to be hopeless because I'm not going to accept hope. It's not like, if you let go of hope, you're not going to feel hopeless. You only feel hopeless if you lose hope. So if you're no longer viewing it as like, I need to attain this, I need to get to this position, and you instead go, I'm here as I am now. This is who I am. But nobody's doing that. Everyone's chasing something else, wanting to be someone else. Different avatars, all that kind of bullshit.
Yeah, that's really deep. And this is a cartoon. When you compare it to other cartoons, and it's so much deeper on a philosophical level, talking about these deep-rooted human emotions that we all go through and circumstances. It's insane. But it's also silly and stupid.
I find it's very similar to style comedic message pushing as Rick and Morty.
Yeah, it is quite
on a far more intense scale. So like they have a lot of adult themes and a lot of crude humor, but they're using that to implant a message. So like in Rick and Morty, it's more so like showing the horrible parts of the world.
Yeah.
And like the outside world around us, what's wrong with this, what's wrong with that.
Yeah.
Whereas the entire Midnight Gospel seems to be more introspective. What's wrong with me? What do I need to change?
Yeah, well it's one guy's podcast.
Yeah.
And you're hearing him talk about himself to these random people. And he's really, an open and honest person about his follies and his downfalls and where he's falling short in life. And because he's such a fucking psychedelic warrior, he has all these deep, introspective, analytical observations about his life. Because a lot of people just live in complete ignorance,
Yeah.
I've seen people on the train and you just want to grab them and be like,
look
in the mirror, man.
It's not even ignorance though. Like a lot of people I know that are like that, they've never had anything to push them out of that bliss, or ignorance, if you want to call it that. Like they've always kind of lived on cruise control. Like they've never been smashed out of it.
I feel like that's most people.
Yeah, it is. Like I find the easiest way it's probably like an NPC.
Yeah.
So like a non-player character.
You go to your day job and you get just enough money to barely survive.
Yeah.
And you do that day in, day out, 5 days a week, 38 hours a week, and then you die.
See, but the question is...
That's what you do. You have your tasks,
if that's what you want to
you
do,
die.
If that's what you want to do, and that's what you feel fulfilled in, then I think that's fine.
I don't think most people are fulfilled in their day jobs. I think they're
Obviously,
miserable and I don't know why.
That's the
They
problem.
go home
if you're
and
doing
they watch
that,
Dancing with the Stars and they drink a whiskey and they hit their wife and like, why am I miserable?
That's it though. Like if you're doing all that and at the end of the day you don't know why you did it, or you're just doing it because this got me through today.
Yeah.
Like, are you really doing what you're wanting to do? Because like it comes down to that question. Like, yeah, there might be an afterlife or whatever, but we're only going to find that out once we get there. Like,
you can't waste the 80 years you get.
Do you want to spend this time you got here, like, not with your kids, like, out at the fucking, the pub?
Timber mill.
Yeah, like, all day, every day. Like, it's good to give them what they want. But if you're not there, like, not everyone gets to talk to their parent like he did when it comes to the end. Like,
some people's parents just die suddenly.
Yeah. Like,
some people's kids just die suddenly.
Yeah, it's like what happens if you spend 35 years going to work every day, barely seeing your kids, and you get cleaned up by a train. Like,
well then...
Yeah, there's no opportunity. Like, you just wasted it.
I hope you enjoyed watching Jag every fucking Thursday night, motherfucker, because now you're dead and your life is wasted. Whereas you should have quit your job, done a high dose of psychedelics, and started painting.
Yeah, I think that's probably also going to be the only downfall for this show. Is like, because I know I went around Dad's, watched some episodes there, and like Dad and Mum, there's no way that they're ever going to enjoy that show.
That's a different generation.
Yeah, like even just our generation, like I know people that I could probably say watch this, and they're just going to be like, that's fucking stupid. Like, unless you actually have that mentality, so you're one of them people that's out to find more than what's here.
Yeah.
And they're not really going to see it. Like, if you're one of the people that's just like, yeah, let's go here, fucking smash, have sex, and fucking go to work every day, like, that's all you're thinking. You're not thinking about, like, what can I do to push my own, spiritual horizons or whatever the fuck it is you're chasing.
Yeah. Well, there's a difference between psychedelics and amphetamines. Yeah. Amphetamines is let's drink coke and fucking party.
Yeah, but that's why I said, like, psychedelics, I don't class them in the same sort of drugs.
No.
I find them more as similar to, like, an antidepressant sort of thing. Something you give to rebalance or re-establish a mental passage. Like, so it's not like, here, take this to get fucked up. It's like, take this so you can, like, remove your bullshit ego, remove your bullshit preconceived judgments, and then actually look at how much of a retard you are.
Ideally, yeah. I have talked to people that have done a lot of psychedelics and are still fucking complete ignorant assholes.
Yes.
Some people are just fucking...
That's the thing though, like, you could take drugs, like, I know people who take mushrooms all the time, but they're only taking them to get smashed with their mates and act like dickheads. Like, everything comes down to how you're perceiving it. Like, if you're going into that situation like, I just want to get fucked up, see something, go to sleep, like, that's all that's going to happen. Yeah. If you sit down and go, I'd really like to. I think smoking is not the way I need to. Like, if you go into it, like, I'm gonna try and look in why am I smoking, all this kind of bullshit. Implant that memory, implant that thought before you go into that situation and focus on it. You can try and channel that in the direction you want instead of just what the fuck happens, colours, let's go to sleep. Like, it's something that should be for a reason, not just I want to get high. It's
I
like,
came out of it not caring a lot about the random inconsequential buzz.
Yeah.
Which I'd always been a big patron of, like my, I guess, not...
Yeah, well, you've always been pretty carefree in the sense that, like...
I've been incredibly carefree to, like, a fault. Like, most of the things that people talk about, I'm like, this is not important in the grand scheme of things, man.
See, but the fact that you can actually say to a fault.
Is
you have enough introspection to see that is something within you.
There's been moments in my life where I should have cared more.
Yeah.
But something happened and I was like, man, fuck it. But, like, most people, like, you hear your friends or your family or people at work, they're like, this is happening, this is an event that's transpiring and I'm stressed out and it's freaking me out. I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
None of this matters in the grand scheme of things.
It's like trying to talk to my mother sometimes, like she's going like, my brother's in jail, I don't care, but like he's in jail, like, oh, this is going to happen to him. And then, this bill's due, this and that, like I need to clean the house, like someone's coming around on the weekend. It's like, you don't need to fucking pile yourself with all this shit. Like, the house needs to get cleaned on the weekend. You're not going to be doing it until 2 days from now anyway. So worry about 2 days from now.
Yeah.
But there's no need to sit here mulling over. It's the same people who, I wish I won the lotto. Like, man, it's so good if I won the 60 million this weekend. Like, I'd do this, and this. And it's like,
you blow it on cocaine and hate yourself.
Not even that. It's like, if you're sitting there going, if I won 10 million this weekend coming, I could buy this new house, I'd set this person up. And then that weekend comes and you don't win. You just feel extra fucking shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, all you're doing by preparing these like false narratives is setting yourself up to feel like shit. So if you don't set them up, if you don't give yourself these pressures and tasks, you're not going to feel pressured.
Yeah. You gotta be thankful and grateful and smell the roses in the moment.
Yeah.
Like, my mum has often complained about her financial situation and like, she's living in like a caravan park and she's poor, sure. But it's like, Mum, you have clean drinking water. You're not afraid that a drone is going to kill you. You're not under constant threat of chemical warfare.
Well, that's like even where I live, there's a very large Middle Eastern population that have moved into that area. So like, you always see like groups of them walking around and that, like in their full garb. And they always walk around like in the afternoon at night on like really cloudy days and shit.
Yeah.
And I was just going to arrive one day and ask him, I was like, yo, how come you just walk, like, there's always guys walking around at night, like, watching. And he's straight up, like, not even fucking joking, but he's like, everyone tends to walk at night because drones don't like to fly on cloudy nights. I was like,
that's
fuck,
crazy.
bro. I was like, that is hectic. I was like, I've just seen you dudes walk around every night for months and just assumed he's like walking in the dark.
Yeah.
It's like, no, because you're afraid you're gonna fucking blow up if you walk in the dark. It's like, man, I used to hate going out. I don't want to fucking walk around in the sun. It's like, man, imagine being in a place where like you want to walk in the sun, but just doing so risks blowing up. I was like, it's a whole different perspective.
A lot of people, most people, when you take into account India, Middle East, China, Africa, are in horrible, fucked up, dark situations, and we're sitting here in this beautiful, luscious paradise filming ourselves in a garage for some fucking video while drinking alcohol and talking about a Netflix program. It's like, perspective shift. You have to realize that we have everything so good. Sure, there is darkness. Sure, life sucks, and it's gonna happen all the time, constantly.
See, but that's the thing though, like you also have to be understanding that like suffering is relative. So one person who's been blown up, like that's obviously fucked, they're suffering. But someone who's like coming from a normal life, but like their parents are fuckwits, like friends are beating, like they got raped or some shit, like there's different levels of suffering, but every suffering is justified. Like, it's a very fucked up situation to live in, like, and most people just they don't understand that. Like they go through whole life like completely oblivious, like they have no theory of mind. Which is probably the best way to describe it, which is like you should have developed that at 3 or 4. That should have happened. It's like some people just, I honestly believe, like some people don't develop it properly.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong along the line, they never get that theory of mind, which is like that this person has different information to me. This person is a separate consciousness.
Yeah.
And like you can see it, because they're the people, they're like, I'm invincible. They'll steal someone's car without thinking, like, this person had to fucking work how many months to save up for that car. They got kids, like, they don't think of that shit, because like, it's not like they're like, yeah, fuck, I don't give a crap. They literally just do not understand. Like, it's just, it doesn't affect me, why should I care? And it's like, that's the whole thing, like, between like two levels of people. It's like awake and asleep, essentially.
Yeah, empathy is massive. My partner's father, you know, stuff happens to people, and like he'll reoccur the situation and be like, you know, why do they give a fuck, blah blah. I'm like, they're not you.
Yeah.
They're not living your life in your world, in your house, with your body and your physiology. Think about it through their eyes. Try to understand their perspective, where they're coming from, their world, their thoughts, their behavior, their upbringing, and then maybe you'd understand why it is affecting them differently too. It would be you.
It's like, not everyone's you.
Yeah. And he was just incapable of thinking about a perspective from another person's point of view.
Yeah, that's
it was all from him, his lens into the universe.
That's
like,
what I mean.
Everyone's lens is different, man. Everyone's fucking lens is completely different. The same thing might happen to us. We would take it completely different ways. Same thing might happen to anybody.
Well, it's like, like, even though an aspect of that show, you sat both me and you down, like, essay form, write out what you thought this episode was about, this and that. Like, I bet you every single one of them would be relevantly this. They probably have the same undertone. This one was about death, kind of thing. But every single thing that you associated with, you connected with, like, I can't remember the name of it. They're primordial figures. So like they show up a bit in this show. So things like the tower, or the parental figure, or like the fruit basket kind of thing. Like, I don't know if that's a real one, but like they're symbols that don't necessarily. So like if you think of the tower, like I say the tower, what do you picture in your head?
Just like a massive structure that's like imposing and big and epic and like.
So that's what I mean. Like, so when I say it, I think of the Eiffel Tower. That's the
I was going to say the Irish Star one for a while.
That's the first thing that's in my head. But it's like
first thing I think of is the Irish Star.
It's a thing that like if both you and I had no idea what we're thinking about, but you just say the word tower, the human mind instantly associates it. Like, so like that's the way like with what what's his name in the fish head episode. The dude who went to prison.
Oh, I don't know his name.
Yeah, neither do I. But yeah, it's like what he says, how like the stuff in the Eastern tradition, like the monkeys and that, how we don't associate.
There's a different meaning.
The monkey would have its version for us here. They would both have their main archetype they're based on. So like their version of the tower. So you would say this projection, this entity is that, and like everyone has their like subconscious built-in thing. Like
music is a great way of laying that out and like being physically able to just see the differences. Because within the Western world we have like the major and minor scales, which, you know, have these notes. These are the notes of the major scale, which is like happiness. And then you go to like Middle Eastern music and it's like, this is one of their musical scales, and it's like, oh, that's completely different. That isn't a major scale. That has all these different, like this seventh note, which changes the sound. And it's exactly the same with stories and archetypes and meanings. Like there's a lot of connecting tissue through lore and mythology through the world.
Like the hero.
The archetypal hero, which kind of resonates through all cultures. But it's different to Middle Eastern culture than it is to like African culture.
That's what I think this show, Pendleton's definitely incorporated a lot more than that I think people are looking at on face projects. So like I reckon if you went back and you actually tried to read all those things, like what is this? I can't remember what the fucking word is, but that archetype. Like representing for that figure, like something that you see, it doesn't have to necessarily be a specific thing. Everybody who sees that's going to associate it with their version, their preconceived notion of that's what that symbolism is.
This means this to me.
And like I do not doubt that there is a lot that has yet to be found, because like just like Gravity Falls, like did you ever watch Gravity?
I know of it, but I've not.
You should definitely, if you like this show, like I definitely reckon give that one a watch. Like the guy who did that, he's very good friends with like Pendleton Ward and the guy who did Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah, Dan Harmon and Justin.
Yeah, I think it might be the Justin guy who did. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, like
I got his face in my mind.
That show's very symbolic, so there'll be like little things in the background, like a symbol, and there's like flashes or a bit of words that will play in reverse, and like the amount of times in this show, like seeing something that looks like a symbolism thing that's like it's got more meaning than what they're saying, or a quick flash of like one frame that's like a subliminal message, or backwards words. Like there's definitely a lot more going on there. I reckon if given a month or two, people who are actually into theories and that, like there's going to be a lot more interconnection.
Pick out so much out of this and develop these big in-depth meanings that may or may not be there, but does it really matter? Like if you look at a Renaissance painting and you think it's the pure representation of satisfaction, and the painter wasn't thinking that, he did some painting. If that means that to you, then that's great.
Well, that's the exact thing of that archetype. That's like one of the definitions for that is like the picture, the painting of Venus. The lady.
In the
like,
plan.
Yeah, it's like personification of beauty, essentially.
It
represents that aspect kind of thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think probably the best thing about this show, though, that I've connected with is the constant reoccurring push to chase mindfulness.
Yeah, I guess if there was a takeaway, it would be think more, analyze more. Look at yourself. Look at your life. Look at your
present.
position.
Like
that's like the last line by old Ramdos, who was a guru of sorts and means a lot to Duncan. Yeah, he's like, be here, be in the moment.
Yeah, that's pretty much the best way you can look at it. It's like the whole just accept yourself as you are right now. Don't live in this mindset like, what am I doing tomorrow? I'm going to go out today, I need to dress this way so this person sees me this. Like, just be you, accept you as you are, and shit just fucking gets a lot easier. Like just even mindfulness, just being aware. Like I remember my therapist a couple of years back got me into mindfulness techniques and that. Like just actually stopping and taking those, feeling that you're actively present in this moment, your physical body.
Yeah.
Like it can really ground you, especially when you feel like
just analysis in general, which I'm a big component of in my life. I mean, this YouTube channel is analyzing stuff. Like Jordan Peterson will always talk about like.
Go and drink.
Oh, yeah, okay, I'll have a drink.
Because the cup's been sitting there empty, I've just been watching it.
Like, if your wife smashes your favourite coffee cup and like you snap and you go off and take it too far, like most people are like, oh well that's fucked up and move on. But no, why did that happen? Why did you think that way? Why did you react? Why did you say the things you said? What is going on? Talk to your wife about it.
Yeah.
What is happening here? Why did I say this? I'm sorry I said this. Can we talk about this?
That's exactly it. Like most people are going through the motions, doing things, and then they just accept them and just move on. Like they're not actually processing what they've done, what they're doing, or where they are.
Yeah.
They're just being there. They're not actually.
They're going through the motions.
Yeah, they're not there.
They're on this roller coaster of home and away, of your day job, of all of that random bullshit. Instead of saying, hey, what can I make of this life? What can I do? What makes me happy?
Yeah.
Which is definitely like I know everyone can't just quit their jobs and do acid and paint, but maybe everyone should just quit their jobs and do acid and paint.
I think
a lot of people would be a lot happier if they tried to balance.
I think everybody, well, those who are predisposed to like schizophrenia or high risk, they probably shouldn't, but the majority...
No, they definitely shouldn't. Or if you're under 25 and your prefrontal cortex isn't developed, like, don't do psychedelics.
But I think everyone who's of the right age, fairly mentally stable, and like... Yeah. They should try at least some form of proper psychedelic once, in the proper setting, or at least try and do it
Sit in a dark room, on a beanbag, no lights, and do 5 grams of psilocybin mushrooms.
Like I was... When I first did mushrooms, like I expected I'll take them, like I had a music playlist set up, paper out, a bunch of pencils, all that kind of bullshit. I was going to sit down, do some art, push this direction. I didn't do any of that shit. I stared at a picture for 2 hours, stared at a shed, walked around the property, and then I laid in bed with my eyes closed for 4 hours. Like at the end of the day, but like I didn't do anything I wanted to, but I came out of that first one in a way better position than I went in. Like, I could have gone in a bad position, but the way I look at it now is like, I've been on a bad trip. Yeah. And if I'm on a bad trip, it's because that's where I need to be.
Yeah, you learn something from that.
Yeah, the way I see it is like
you're
not just taking something that's creating random images. You're taking something that's physically forcing you to be faced with yourself.
Yeah,
on the most primordial level. Yeah. So like it's like if I'm seeing something bad or I'm panicking or I'm seeing this part of it, like I see myself gross looking in a mirror or something. It's because part of me is manifesting that. Like I don't like the way I look, or I don't like this thought about myself.
I'm always like really conscious of like the choices I've made. So you're a weird looking dude, man, and you've actively made these choices.
Yeah.
To have long, ridiculous, silly hair. And John Lennon sunglasses.
I don't know, I guess don't. But that's one of the things though, like, but you've realised that, but you've gone, this is who I am.
Yeah.
This is what makes me feel like me.
Yeah.
And you do it.
Yeah.
Like you could be that person who just shaves their hair short, does the normal thing, dresses in a suit, goes to work and shuts up.
An average Joe.
Yeah, you've gone, fuck that, I'm Alex, this is the way I want to do things.
Yeah.
And you've realised that.
Yeah. My dad is always like, you should join the military, Alex. I'm like, I should smoke marijuana and listen to Pink Floyd, Dad.
Yeah, see, like, my family's definitely very military family. And, like...
Yeah, my dad...
I dress in all this stupid shit now for, like, gel soft and that, but, like, I honestly don't think I could make it. Like, I always wanted to do the military. I wanted to do artillery. My whole life, I was like, fuck yes, I love to do this. But then, like, the older I got, it's like, I'm so bad at taking orders from anyone.
Just like the strict regiment... or the system of have a day job and work that day job to get just enough money to survive and then die. That system is too confining for me. I want to be freer and more experimental and introspective and do something else.
That's what I like about life, because like your view is essentially the complete opposite of mine.
Yeah.
The fact that like I've had the freedom and nothing's stopping me from chasing it. Like I've done psychedelics, I've tried meditation, I've gone through Buddhism, all that kind of stuff. Like, but like at the end of the day, what my brain deepest down that I've never been able to escape from, and I always find whenever I do any sort of introspection, is I want that structure. Like I grew up, no bedtime, no grounding, walk around drinking passion pop at 2 a.m. kind of shit. Like, and it's like, I enjoy that shit, but there's a part of my brain deep down that's always itching and always want to, like, you need to be cleaning. You want someone to tell you what to do. It's like, I enjoy being ordered, but I don't. Like, it's a very conflicting thing.
It's a balancing act, and everything is a balancing act. You can't have too much freedom and not enough structure. You need to balance freedom and structure. A kid is the perfect example, and then this analogy can be used in any aspect of life. You can't be too harsh, you can't be too strict, you can't be too distant and emotionless and authoritarian. But you can't be too free and hippie and libertarian, like do whatever you want. Start a bushfire, write cunt on the wall. It doesn't matter. You need to find this balance and this line in the middle where you're being structured and you're constricting their lives and putting them in parameters where they will be able to function within the world, but also you're like, freedom, love, happiness, joy, expression, and every aspect of life is that. You can't just go one way or the other. You need to find a balance in the middle, and that's very hard. And there's not a clear line where it's like this is the tipping point.
I don't think you ever find that line, to be honest. Like
you're on the line, veering over this side and that side for your whole life.
I think that's probably the best way.
And with a kid, you're always like that. You're always like, don't do that, or should I be yelled at?
Like I've definitely done that before. Like I've gotten up my son for, like, you know, not eating his dinner or something, or not doing the right thing, or breaking something. It's like you send them to your room and they go to bed not in the best mood, and it's like,
could I have handled that?
Like it's like,
should I have handled that?
Is he gonna feel bad, like wake up feeling different? It's like it's eating away at you, but at the end of the day, like it's happened. So like,
you can't dwell on it.
That's like,
you need to learn from it ideally and move
specifically on. Like that the episode in that very last minute where the last one where his mum and him are both falling into the, I can't remember the name of it, the eternal snake ring where it's eating its own tail. I can't remember the specific meaning of that, but it being tied to the black hole is definitely...
It's just like eternity, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's like sustaining yourself off... I can't even remember, it's too common. I'm like fucked as well, so...
But
like it definitely fits, and like the way that... Even down to the fact, like, she goes into it, and like, he's still falling, still breaking apart. Like, even in that moment of that one bit of similar, it's like you're still aging, you're still dying, you're still following the exact same path.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much beyond just the words. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, if you had to pick one episode, which one?
Definitely the end one. I mean, you can't go past that conversation that he's having with his mother, where he's being so open and honest about the fact that she is in the middle of dying.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get any deeper or prevalent or hit home or be more emotional than that moment.
That one's a very hard-hitting one for the fact that, like, everyone has a mother. And the moment you realise he's actually having a conversation with his real mother about real topics, like, you implant yourself.
Yeah, you can't help but think about your mother and her eventually.
And because it's a cartoon, it makes it so much easier as well. Yeah. Because it's not a real person. You can easily implant yourself on that character. Yeah. And, like, that's what definitely, like, but personally for me, like, I'd probably say the esoteric trap.
That is a very cool episode. It has some very cool imagery.
Yeah, like
the repeating cycle of when the old man keeps on dying. So that hand is like pulling the thing out of
That's probably as close to my view. Like, so I've mainly been a Shingon Buddhist follower for a long time, but like I kind of divert from that in the fact that like I fall into that same kind of mentality that they describe in that episode. Yeah. Whereas like you're reborn in that situation over and over.
Or reincarnation.
Yeah,
right?
And like you're constantly learning a new step, and like eventually you will reach a path where you find the right one. Like I don't believe in reincarnation of the fact that like you're born and then you die and you turn into a fucking bird or a worm or some shit. I honestly believe like it goes in that aspect. Like if you die, you're pushed back to the most important part or the start of your life, and you'll re-push through it. Until you get it right.
Keep on repeating it.
Until you succeed, until you find the right
If I had the foreknowledge of what I've experienced so far when I was like 20, man, I would have done fucking everything so drastically differently. Everything! But you can't. You can't go back.
That's the way I've always been stuck in that trap of like, imagine if I had gone back just this age in high school, made this decision.
Jamie, this is your future Jamie knowledge of 28-year-old Jamie.
Like done like this differently, and then I think that's like if I had done that differently, this path would have changed. I never would have done this, and like I never
would have turned out worse.
Yeah, it's like me and my ex, like our relationship crashed horribly.
Yeah,
and like I regret that ever happening, but I don't regret it happening.
Yeah,
like it's like it didn't happen. If I didn't meet it, that path didn't follow, I wouldn't have the son I have today. Like I don't regret any single thing I've done, but I am aware of the things that I need to change. It's like I understand I was a piece of shit.
Well,
I done this.
Yeah, even just a mistake where there is no positive way, you just fucked up. Like it's a learning experience. You don't know that you shouldn't have done that until you do it and you feel the consequences, and you're like, oh, okay, I get it now. I get the depth of what happened. And I will never again tread down a path. Hopefully, there are some people who just, I know a guy, we went to school with him, he's homeless. He's our age, he's homeless. He lives in a tent, in the forest, in an abandoned lot. And he was conscious of this, and he talked about this, and he would repeat the same mistake over and over again. And he would say, Alex, I know I'm doing this, I'm self-sabotaging, but I'll get to a point in my life and I'll freak out, or it'll become overwhelming, and I'm like, no, I can't do this. And I'll tear it all down, and I'll burn down my life, and I'll break it. And he's just in this cycle.
That's where I've always found, like, I definitely connected with the episode with, what's his name, who went to prison. He got into the ritual magic, or ceremonial magic. Like, when he speaks of Crowley.
Yeah, like, Crowley.
Do you know much about Crowley?
No, just Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin lived in his old house.
So I know a little bit about, like, so, and, like, a lot of stuff with He Talks is like, it is a lot of, that fucking ceremonial magic. There's a lot of stuff to do with the law of attraction.
Okay, yeah.
Do you know much about the law of attraction?
What, just basic physics?
No, so the law of attraction is like kind of like a spiritual or psychological thing. So like the law of attraction, I'm probably misquoting it, but
yeah, that's right.
It comes down to like, if you believe something and you put the manifestation the mental manifestation into it hard enough, it will happen. So like if you're sitting there thinking like, I'm gonna get this job, I'm gonna do this right, I'm gonna succeed. If you truly believe it and you keep believing it, it will eventually manifest. Same with if you're constantly in that mindset, like I'm a self-sabotager, I'm gonna end up this way, it will happen to you. Because subconsciously, you're implanting that and you're building the path to that direction without realizing it. And like, I find like he's definitely, that's probably the best way. If the law of attraction was a real thing, or is to be real, he pretty much guided himself down that path. Like I know who you're talking about. It's like his constant negative viewing, his constant believing that was going to be the path is what physically manifested that path.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, man. Hectic that a good friend that we know I went to school with is a homeless person.
Yeah, like it's definitely an eye opener, but like it's something like that's one of the things that solidifies. Like I do believe in that whole, you know, the transfer of energy, the law of attraction sort of thing. So like if you truly push manifestation of energy into something, it will manifest.
Yeah, I definitely believe in it to a degree. Like if you want something and you keep on pushing and churning towards that with maximum effort, you will work your way up to it. But there are some like definites within the universe with it. You have stage 4 brain cancer and you're like, I'm gonna will my way out of this.
Obviously not. But like, that's like the whole thing where he talks about ceremonial magic. Is like when people say magic, people assume like make a flower appear,
Western idea,
shoot lasers out of your hands. But like magic is essentially to the point where like you're manifesting something to become real. So if you believe, like the placebo effect.
Which is unexplained by science. We don't really get it.
The placebo effect is essentially ceremonial magic. Subconscious ceremonial magic. You're truly pushing energy and you're believing this thing works, this thing I've ingested or taken, this
sugar pill.
This spell, this elixir will cure me. And
it cures water.
Because like you believed it, same with the law of attraction or with that manifestation, like you believed it to the point that your brain actually manifested it. Which is why like in that same aspect, the fact that the placebo effect works is the reason that I don't believe that DMT, psilocybin, that is just your brain overloading, and because there's got to be something more there. If
you take a deep, insightful meaning away from it, then that moment is as real or as tangible as anything else. How can it not be?
The way I see it is like we're taking in a million things at once. Like I'm talking to you, I'm focusing on you, doing that, but like there's probably sounds out here, there's a million colours on the wall here, there's a camera screen, all that kind of stuff.
Fire.
My brain's just instantly just going, just turning that down.
Yeah.
But when you take psilocybin or DMT, it just, that switch is left open.
Yeah.
You're taking everything in. So the way I see it is like, especially DMT, you're not imagining something. You're physically just no longer tuning out.
Yeah.
You're just turning off that dimmer.
Yeah.
You're just opening every channel. You're just seeing what is there. But your brain normally goes, I'm blocking this out because I don't need it to survive.
It's like a filtering mechanism.
Yeah,
and this is the thing they had trouble with making like representation of the human brain through artificial intelligence. We're getting these constant data points from everywhere, but our brain filters it out and goes, this isn't important, like this is important. But then when you take psychedelics, it's like all of a sudden the grain on the door is everything. And instead of that moment, that data point being filtered out, the brain just automatically does and says, that's not important. It's all of a sudden like, whoa, the wood
that's exactly
this door.
It's like your brain normally, you goes, that's a door. Half a milli, like a nanosecond, your brain automatically assumes,
that's a door, we need to move on.
But when you're looking
at it,
it's like,
what's
that's
going
the whole
on,
point
I need food.
Looking at like a newborn's perspective. You're removing yourself from every preconceived notion you have. So you look at that door and you go, rectangle, covered in texture. You see literally everything. And like the thing that most people see is like this insane blowout is literally just you seeing the world without a filter. Your brain's not turned down. Because if we lived like that constantly, like just talking to you,
you couldn't survive. It's like if a deer was focusing on this specific blade of grass and the texture within this blade of grass on the savannah, it'd get jacked by one.
Like talking to you, like you're trying to focus on like your lips moving, every pore, every bit of hair, every single hair fiber, the light angle. Like if your brain actively kept track of all that instead of just muting it out,
Yeah.
it'd fry our brains. And like that's essentially what you're doing on a hallucinogen. Is you're just essentially switching that filter off. And just going, here's the world. Yeah. And you're basically hitting it like that. Like,
we should take a pause because I need to pee and charge this camera. We're back! Woo!
that sounds sick.
That's the type of stuff I do when I'm on acid. And that's all I want to do.
No, I literally just close my eyes then. Oh, acid's not what I've done before. To be fair, this entire episode was like, let's talk about midnight gospel. So DMT.
It's not about, that's fine. There doesn't need to be any...
It doesn't like, to be completely fair, like, when you like, we'll review the Midnight Gospel, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to watch it at all until I come around here and watch it before we review it.
Yeah.
And you're like, nah bro, you should watch them before.
Yeah.
And I was like, alright, we'll get to it.
It's like 3 hours.
And then I got absolutely retarded. Turned the first episode on, and within like 3 minutes I was like,
what is going on?
I'm way over my head. And yeah, like, woke up the next day after getting to like 5 or 6 episodes, and yeah, like fucking, it was just like a few notes at episode 1, the fucking all that shit, got to the clown world episode, it was literally just, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, what
it was
is
the
going
only
on?
thing I read down. I was like, I'm not even gonna bother taking these.
I mean, I don't know. You could sit down and dissect this scene by scene and explain why this scene works and explain why the concept of intercutting a surreal podcast about the idea of meditation into this trippy Adventure Time style animation is warped and different.
Yeah.
Or we could just talk about anything.
The way I like to see it is like, I'm pretty sure this show is just a catalyst to get people talking about, you know, like self-realization, spirituality, and psychedelics.
I hope so.
Like,
the next
I can't
20 years will be interesting because, like I said, the last 60 years has been the war on drugs. Drugs are bad. Let's fill up these prisons with these people who had marijuana. And now all of that's changing and we're starting to realize that this is not a demon, and hopefully once the legal system becomes more lax with it, then more people can experience it. Hopefully.
Yeah, that's like, I think it's probably the way to go though, like, because I've drank a lot over the years. And
alcohol is not good, man.
I don't know about mushrooms and that, but like, I've never thrown up and broken a vacuum cleaner with vomit of psychedelics.
Yeah.
There's a very different aspect, but like, I think a lot of psychedelics too, like, they're not something they're interested in making legal because you can't tax it.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who've done it once and then they've just gone never again.
Well, fucking this guy here, Sid Barrett, do you know of him? He was the lead singer of Pink Floyd in the early days, like their first album. And basically what happened to him is he took too many incredibly high doses of LSD in the 60s. He got drug-induced
psychosis.
No, it was like, forget the terminology for it. There is a medical terminology for it. But basically, like, who he was just disappeared. Most of what people say about him is like, if he was a light, the light switch turned off.
Oh, so it's like a full dissociative break.
Yeah, like he was gone. Sid was gone.
Yeah,
that
like
human being.
The body was there, but the machine was switched off. Like.
His psyche shattered, and he was incapable of picking up the broken pieces. But as another example, my father, alcohol has ruined his life. Like, he's an abusive alcoholic who has destroyed most of his relationships in life because of alcohol and because of violence. I don't think this should be illegal.
Yeah.
I think I should be able to enjoy a beer at a Aussie barbecue. I don't think marijuana should be illegal.
Yeah, that's like just as old mate said.
I don't think acid should be illegal.
Everything should
Not everyone should take it, and you shouldn't just take high, crazy doses because consequences happen. Because, Dad, consequences happen. But that doesn't mean you should be thrown in a fucking cage with murderers for doing it. That is insanity. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Imagine if, alcohol was illegal, the prohibition in America. It's like, alright, you've been drinking scotch? Why don't you live in a cage with a fucking serial killer for fucking 8 years?
See, but look
what
happened.
Are we doing?
Look what happened when the prohibition came in, though. The amount that people wanted alcohol and the demand for alcohol increased. Well, because it had become a taboo product. Same as like people want weed. It's like, let's get some weed, let's get high, let's get blazed. But it's like, if you could just go down to the fucking shop and buy it every day, it's no more interesting than alcohol or cigarettes. Like, went and got some weed today. People would be like, cool.
And the government could tax it and make a fuckload of money. In California, I think, or maybe it was Washington, they got to the point where they're like, I don't know what to do with all this money. Should we start giving like tax rebates to all the citizens? Because it was like a $1 million industry just in this one state. Created like 130,000 jobs and just millions and millions and millions of dollars that the government can tax and reap the rewards for. Or they can throw people in cage for it because it's illegal.
You make more money doing that.
Well, in America, the prison system has been privatized, which is a terrible idea.
You get more money the more people you put in.
Well, the prison systems in America have lobbied hard against the legalization of marijuana because it's taking away profits from their own people in prison business. But luckily here, it's not a private business. It's a state, government, national-owned business. So it's a different set of circumstances.
I can't see it being too popular here anytime soon.
I would like to think that in 20 years weed will be legal in Australia, but who the fuck knows?
Yeah, 20 years I'm just hoping we're not dead. Some shit going on. Next coronavirus or a new war or some shit.
That is also a possibility. Everything could go at any moment. Duncan's mum. Our lives.
Is Midnight Gospel multi-seasonal or is it a mini-series? Because I feel like that kind of wrapped up.
Yeah, I'd be happy if this was it. I don't really need 7 seasons.
Like, I think the only bit unwrapped is probably Old Mate's fucking crazy dad.
Yeah.
Like, that his fucking subscriber or whatever.
It had a conclusion.
Speaking of that, holy shit, before I forget, the fucking... When Old Mate talks about his only subscriber.
That's
like he does video.
I related that so much.
Like,
oh my god, I'm doing that.
I was like, I had 1 subscriber.
I have a very, very, very small community of subscribers who I wouldn't say live for, but definitely enjoy creating content.
There's definitely a message in that scene though, like with Old Mate with his ice cream.
I was I was so on board.
He likes ice cream.
I was so high on it. Yes.
He mentions he likes ice cream, and then Clarence goes out of his fucking way to make sure the next episode is about ice cream.
Yeah.
And there is actually a message to that. It's that you should be appreciative of your subscribers and your fans.
Yeah.
Like, taking every comment to heart, like, you should do this, and then actually doing that, like, you're gonna go away from your own path to keep others happy. And it's like, at the end of the day, it's your channel, like. The only reason, like, it obviously worked out for him that he met fucking Rose and that, but like, if you going that is what knocked him on that fucked up path. Like, he never ended up going to old multi-penis land.
I didn't think of that, but that's interesting. So I mean, basically in conclusion, this is a very different type of show which hasn't really existed in any facet before. You've taken a podcast and you've interjected it into this Adventure Time, Rick and Morty style world, and the end product is something different.
Yeah, like, I've never seen anything close to this. Like, as soon as you see the art style, like, you instantly know this is Pendleton Ward. It instantly connects.
Being very familiar with Duncan Trussell too, it's very Duncan.
Yeah, like,
the ideas and the premise and...
Like, I think a lot of I think Pendleton's really got into this because he's noticed as well, like, a lot of the Adventure Time crowd, they're adults now.
Yeah.
I was the Adventure Time crowd, like, we're all adults.
We were like
Most of the people who are
18 like it came out.
Even Adventure Time deals with a lot of things on mortality, family.
It gets hectic by the end. I mean, I haven't sat down and watched Adventure Time.
Yeah, like
but the lore and mythology, especially the world, becomes this rich,
like
enveloped.
There's a lot of spirituality, a lot of self-introspection, a lot of that stuff pushed even into that kids show. Yeah. Like those people who grew up on that, they were implanted with those ideals and notions.
That's great. Ella, my daughter watches it, and I'm stoked. I'm like, I can sit down and watch this.
And we're adults now, so like we're gonna instantly attach to that, and we're already susceptible to this open style, like this hectic art style, questioning a lot of symbolism in that, because we're already adjusted.
A podcast. If you're not really into podcasts, it might be jarring, or do we even hear this type of conversation?
Yeah, like everyone I've watched it with so far in the last couple of days who isn't within our generation, like likes to be online kind of thing, like don't know what a podcast is, they physically cannot fit into the show, like they can't sit down and be like, ooh, and like watch it.
It's too much.
Yeah, it's too jarring. Like they're physically like, I'm not used to this. Whereas like even with me, like it's fucking hectic. Yeah. But I can look away. Yeah. Keep listening. Yeah. And get just as much enjoyment out of that show just listening to the audio section.
After this, I'm like, I need to listen to the hour and a half podcast with Duncan and his mum.
Yeah, I'm definitely keen to listen to that.
So fucking hectic and intense and sad and inspiring and crazy.
Anyone watches this show, like that's a definite. Is like, I reckon people should watch it purely because that scene, like that final episode, like that hit on a level. Like I think this show is one of the only shows I've watched in a long time that's actually gonna leave me with more than when I went into it. Like I'm not just watching like, oh, this show's cool, that's cool, Jess, but like I'm actually going out of it like, I've added this to my life, I've got this new thing to think about, I've got this new aspect to look from. My advice to you is go through all the Duncan Trussell podcasts that are Rogan. Oh, I definitely will be. I listen to way too much Rogan though. I was listening to the most recent one, and like a bit that got me, like personally, is when he was talking about Pendleton, when he just little details he puts in the show. Yeah. When he's talking about how Pendleton was like, he needs a bag. Yeah. He needs a bag. Like he needs something to put things in. Cosplayers. Yeah. I was like, as soon as he said that, it hit me. He was like, I've been cosplaying for a few years now. I was like, holy fuck. I was like, I didn't even realize it until he said it. I was like, that is perfect. He was like, yeah, if he hadn't have had that, like, you've got to have your fucking passes, your wallet, everything. He wears a pair of shorts and a hat. It's like a fucking skirt. Yeah, and I was like, that right there was what helped solidify. I was like, there is a level of input into this show and trying to perceive a message to its viewers that most shows do not have. Like shit, like even Game of Thrones, it's got a lot of hectic shit. And it's just like, it's more like just. And this is a dumb acid trip kids cartoon. Look how cool this is. How cool is this to watch? Like, oh, it's a person having sex or murder. It looks pretty, colourful. This one's like, I literally finished watching that last episode, and there was like a 2-minute section of like literal anxiety, like existential dread. Like, I had like physically coming over that, like fuck, like my mom's gonna die, like. It really hits you. Like, it's not something that you see. I'd already watched it 2 times previously. I watched the last episode 3 times, and you were sitting down for the first time, so I was waiting to get to the point where she mentioned she was dying of cancer, and I was like, Jesus, this is getting intense, man. Definitely, like the amount that you connect. This guy's mom is dying. Yeah, the fact that you can connect to a fairly bad, simple drawn cartoon. It's very childish. Point that it's like pulling at your like guttural, choked up feeling. Yeah, that is not something that's easy to obtain. Like, fuck Metalocalypse, fuck Rick and Morty, fuck Family Guy, fuck The Simpsons, fuck Futurama. This is the ultimate in-depth. Analytical insight into the human psyche that's ever been animated. I think anyone who's interested in meditation, spirituality, psychedelics, self fucking help, anything like that, life, they will get something out of the show. Like, if you sit down to watch it, all 8 episodes, and you don't get anything out of it, then you're not looking deep enough. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to do it. I can't imagine anyone who actually sits through all 8 episodes and actually listens like really listens to what's being said, that you won't come out of it in a different place to when you went in.
Yeah.
Because like I've only watched through the series twice now, and like
this will be a thing in like 30 years time when I'm like 60 years old. I'll be like, oh, do you remember when that acid tripped guy from Joe Rogan made that cartoon? We should put on that. That was great. And you'll put it on at like a 6-year-old man. You'll be like, oh, this was something else. This never happened. This was a moment in the world, kids. And
I think,
Grandpa, stop it.
I think my favorite thing to take away from like wrapping everything up would have to be the fact that like through multiple episodes they reinforce mindfulness, which I think every single human on the planet should practice mindfulness. Because like
I agree.
It is ridiculous. Like even as his mum says, with that whole feeling yourself within your own body, like that's a form of mindfulness. Like you're actually being actively present, that I'm here, this is me right now.
Yeah.
I'm in this position, and like the thing is that most people go through their entire life without actually, they're here, but they're not here. They're just like in this numb state where they're just existing.
What are the last words of the show? Be here now.
Yeah.
From
like
old Rondo.
I couldn't remember who said that quote, but I've heard that quote prior to this show.
Yeah.
And like it resonates for a reason. Like it's no joke. Like same with how he, before we end, like in the episode where he talks about he got that guru or whatever.
Yeah.
Like when they first got together, he's like, this is hopeless.
Yeah.
Like it's hopeless. Like it's just so you fully understand that, like, yes, you may be trying to escape the fear of death or find a better place where you're happy, but it's hopeless. Like everyone's gonna die. Everything ends. Nothing is fun eventually. Like everyone suffers. So like the moment we give up hoping is the moment that we no longer struggle.
That is infinitely true. And will eternally be infinitely true.
Yeah, like it
is the human condition.
Yeah, like I find one of the main messages that perceives to me is like that you don't know anyone else until you know yourself.
Yeah.
You have to finding everyone else is finding yourself.
Yeah.
Because you are everyone essentially.
Yeah. Alright, if anybody has watched to this point in the video, which I doubt.
Who knows, who cares?
Thank you for watching, and it would really help out if you guys could, if you're over 25 and don't have any history of mental illness in your family.
Take hardcore hallucinogens.
Hard doses of psychedelics. Learn who you are and watch the Midnight Gospel.
Do it safely.
Thank you, Jamie. We should do this again. We should do this like...
Check out History Squad Gel Soft, only because I'm a seedy cunt who needs to plug myself.
Oh. That was it.